Hey there, fans of the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. This is Kevin from the Super Fun Time Show. And yesterday, if you've been checking out the channel, I made a Survivor 47 first impressions video. It's really long. Actually, it's even kind of daunting. At one point in the middle of it, I was like, okay, I'm just reading bios. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Literally just reacting to reading the bios. And this video instead is if for some reason you're interested in such a long diatribe about some of these castaways. And now that it's not my first impression of these people, I can give you some of my thoughts on how I think they're going to do based on the bios and maybe some of my other thoughts initially. Like, honestly, if I like them a lot, if I think they're going to be out early, they're going to be out mid game, or possibly have a shot at the end based on very little information, but still, it is some information that's a little bit better than the Entertainment Weekly article that I had read yesterday at first glance. So, hopefully, with that being said, we can learn a little bit more about who I personally like, who I'm going to the season liking, and possibly maybe we can even talk about how I can see the tribal dynamics breaking down based on some of this stuff that we've seen from the Entertainment Weekly article. Now, just to zhuzh it up like I try to do on this channel a lot, I have the tribes all broken down into different graphics, and we're gonna go through all the people. Okay. And we're going to talk about these different tribes, how we think they're going to interact, and if there are any standouts in particular for me. So first off, we're going to start with the red tribe here, which it does have a name. I don't know its name yet. I'm sure if I look deep into spoilers, I would find it. But for the sake of discussion, we're going to call it tribe Hot to Go. Hot to Go here. This is the tribe Keyshawn, Aisha, Genevieve, Rome, Teeny, and Soul. These are folks that I am really, really looking forward to seeing. I will admit, when I look at this tribe, I am a little flabbergasted with how exactly they're going to shape up. The way I really see this going down is I see Keyshawn playing kind of a, I don't know the best to describe it, somewhere in the middle type of role. Maybe someone like a Josh from 44, right in the beginning when he was spending his time with Soka, and it has to transform a little bit later into something like maybe an Omer where he gets a little more proactive with some of his waiting. Aisha, I think she's going to be really good. It seems like she's got a great attitude, great personality, great spirit for the game. Genevieve, I don't know. I'm getting Sarah from Survivor 41 in Luvu. Rome, I mean, come on, how can we not love Rome? Rome here is he's got a great personality. It seems to be a big personality. I think he mentioned comparing to Caleb from Survivor 45. I mean, everybody would love to basically do a Caleb from Survivor 45. At least as far as like looks and personality and charm and being able to win people over. But and I think he can. I think he can. On this tribe, I don't know if he's my number one that I'm looking forward to seeing play the game, but he is definitely up there. The only other two that are in contention, probably Aisha, like I had mentioned a little bit earlier, and the soul brother himself, Solomon. I am super looking forward to this guy. He seems like he's going to be kind of like a dry wit, kind of hang around, help guide the tribe through some of their interesting dynamics. Because I have to admit, when I look at some of the folks in the tribe, like Teeny screams to me super nerd that's out early. Like it reeks of it to me. I remember based on the bio, it's a lot of super nerdish things that I feel like would normally get you kicked out of the game pretty quickly. But I don't know. I just don't feel like, I don't feel like Teeny's got this juice. I feel like instead, if your name was Grande, not Teeny, this is such a stupid joke. Maybe it would be going better. I don't know. But that's just how I think about it. Who knows? Maybe Teeny wins the game. Couldn't tell you. Again, Keyshawn, I think, is going to help mitigate some of the strong personalities because I could see Teeny, Rome, Genevieve, and not really Aisha. I think Aisha is going to stay out of it for the most part. But I think the danger zone within Tribe Hot to Go consists primarily of Teeny and Genevieve to start the game. But that's just kind of my initial perception of how Tribe Hot to Go is going to go. I think Aisha is primed to go really far. I think Keyshawn's primed to go really far. Rome is a big home run swing or miss, honestly. Genevieve, I think, based on the vibes, is only going to get as far as like Mergatory. Like maybe she's strong, maybe she's got a lot going on, but I don't feel like other people are going to want to bring her along. And that's why I think ultimately she's probably going to get taken out. For what it's worth on this tribe, if there's one person I'm rooting for the most, it's probably Soul. I'm probably going to go with my man Soul. But honestly, I'd be happy with a bunch of folks from Hot to Go. and whatever their real tribe name is. I don't know. We'll see. We'll move on from hot to go because you kind of know my feelings on who I like and who I don't. We'll go into the blue tribe, or obviously, as they're going to be now known as, the Smurf tribe. The Smurf tribe consists of Tiana, Gabe, Sue, Caroline, and Kyle. This could be the goofball tribe. I admit I kind of think red's the goofball tribe. I think they're going to be so dysfunctional. Blue could be it because there's so many people from like different backgrounds that are kind of all over the place. Like TK was a football player. He had some kidney disease and some other stuff. Then he's done playing football. Tiana's a flight attendant from Hawaii, which is great. Gabe, I actually don't fully remember what Gabe does, but he's a big talker. He's a big charmer. Sue, she is like a flight pilot school instructor. Caroline, boring old potato. I'm just kidding. And Kyle. Kyle is just Kyle, bro. He's a quirky guy. Definitely quirky guy. And how these people are going to sort together. I'll give you kind of my quick hit things. Tiana is giving me Jamie from Survivor 44 vibes. That's what I'm getting from her when I hear her talk. When I saw a mini little clip from her on Instagram, I think that's her. I think straight up Tiana is like Miss Sunshine, a lot of energy. I think she's probably going to find an advantage. She's like primed to be a journey advantage person in my mind. I think it's going to go well for her. TK, I'm not sure. Physically, he looks like he's in great shape. I'm sure he's going to be super helpful for the Smurf tribe. And I think he's going to do really well, at least initially. How long does he make it? Does he go into like a role where he ends up, falling apart like a Sifu around the Mergatory? I don't know. The person that's physically strong and I think will flame out is actually Gabe. Something about Gabe just, I don't know. It feels like he's gonna overplay his hand. Like socially, it feels like he's gonna think he's like super charming, and people on the tribe like I could see Sue going like, yeah, I'm not into this, slightly getting annoyed. But I think at first TK is gonna want the tribe to be strong, from what I can tell. Tiana, I think, is just gonna go with it. Caroline, same deal. Unless she does an Emily Flippin and she starts off right away by saying that these people suck and we need to get rid of the two that are paired together. Although there's no Sweat and Savvy this season for Survivor 47. I don't know if you know about that, but Jeff Probst just announced that there's no Sweat and Savvy and they're going to have something different. I don't know what it's going to be. I didn't like Sweat or Savvy, but if it's going to be replaced with another type of challenge, I don't know if I'm going to like that either. We need innovation in the game, I guess. Kyle, I don't know how I feel about Kyle. It looks like Ian Rosenberger from Survivor Palau somehow got older and younger at the same time. I don't really know how to explain him. Seems like a chill dude. He said he was a surfer. He van life. I don't have high hopes for his game. Admittedly, I'm getting Zane Knight from Survivor Philippines vibes. I don't have great faith at all that he's going to make it very far. I hope he does. Seems like a nice guy, but I don't have a lot of faith in that. And Sue seems like it sounds like she had some relationship stuff in the past, and like she's kind of come out the other end, like a lot of domestic abuse stuff, which is interesting because I compared her to like Carolyn Weiger from Survivor 44, sort of, at least in the archetype. And she had similar problems in her life. So, I'm speculating for Sue. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm very curious what's going on there and how much that's given her the ability to persevere in a difficult situation like this, because she's going to have the Smurf tribe to contend with. It's going to be difficult to navigate through, but I think she's going to be a strong enough personality to do that as long as she can show that she can compete in the challenges, which it looks like she can. She has a flight school. She deals with pilots. You got to have strong personalities. Caroline, I have no real thoughts toward, honestly. If I had to say who would get along, I think Tiana's going to get along with maybe TK, Caroline, and Kyle, and Gabe for like a second. And I just feel Gabe gets out first. I don't know. Maybe they win all the challenges and they don't have to, but that's just kind of loosely how I'm shaking it out there. But they're kind of a goofball tribe. But what can you expect in Smurfville? All right. Well, next we're going to move on to the Yellow Tribe. And since we don't know the actual name of the Yellow Tribe, obviously there's only one logical conclusion that we could come to name it in the interim. And that, of course, is Team Nanners. Obviously, Team Nanners, we got a couple of screwballs in here, including one famous screwball that I do not particularly know well, but reading his bio, it makes sense. It is his profession to be a professional writer. This is John. John Lovett is his name. Apparently, he was a former speechwriter, I think for Obama, and he's done a lot of other written work, and that's why he like looks up to people like John Cochran, who won Survivor, and he is now a formal actual writer in the entertainment industry. Fancy, right? So John is someone that I know a lot of people online are looking forward to see play because they believe in him, they think he's funny, and I don't know. It's always nice to see someone that you know from outside of the game be put into the game and how it would translate because he's got the humor of a Brandon Donlin, of a Zach Wertenberger, and those people can do really well. Now, the two people I just mentioned didn't do very well, but other people who are very comedic and really funny and get along really well, they usually thrive. John has the opportunity to do that as well and stick around and play a great game. I don't have like a ton of faith. I think he's an all or nothing player. He could easily go out like Zach Wertenberger, or he could stick around forever like Mike White. Honestly, the possibilities are kind of endless there. The unfortunate thing for John is, in my opinion, is this guy named Sam. Sam from the Nanners tribe. When I read his bio, he's a young guy who is really excited about getting like a really great job at a young age in the sports industry. There's a lot of people in the sports industry this time. Rome, Sam, and TK. But Sam thinks the world of himself. He really does. At least from what I can tell. From what I can tell. Remember, it was just Entertainment Weekly up to this point. We'll see once they hit the beach and if these bios are indicative at all, because some of them may have been written after the game was done. I have to say that. I said it in my long video. I'll say it in this one too. Sam may not really be that cocky about himself, but I read his bio as cocky, which I could see Sam, who wants to bro out maybe and be the physical beast of the tribe, along with Andy over here. I could see him thinking that John is maybe too much of a nerd, too much of an obvious social player, like a John Cochran, and decide to dump him because I think Sam and Andy are going to get along really well. Which, by the way, I want to tell you right now, Andy is automatically my favorite to start the game. He's got beautiful flowing hair. I will always start off rooting for the people with the beautiful flowing hair, particularly the guys, because women, it's like par for the course, like it's expected. However, with men, on board. Survivor 43, Owen Knight, ride or die, basically. Survivor 45, Austin Lee Kuhn, right off the bat. I'm ready to go. Andy, I think, is going to start off from a good point. He seems like he's probably going to straddle the line, kind of like Austin Lee Kuhn did in 45. I think Sam's going to like him. Honestly, I think everyone on this tribe is probably going to get along with Andy. Rachel, from the limited amount I know, doesn't strike me as someone who would get along with Sam. That's just my POV at the moment. I think Andy's going to yes him in the beginning, but not really be on board with any of this stuff. Now, the person I'm really curious about, like I've established that I think Sam's going to be the centerpiece, and in a bad way. Although I think the Yellow Tribe's going to win immunity a lot. That's my guess. That's my guess. They could be the Buffoon Tribe. Yellow doesn't have the greatest history necessarily, but I think they're going to do pretty well in the challenges. The one I'd be afraid of is Blue being a little disjointed. I'm kind of curious the fate of Sierra here because I love Sierra already. The fact that she lives in Phoenixville, PA, which is pretty close to where I live, already on board. Let's go. She seems like a really fun personality, really goofy, which I could see, an Andy, Sierra getting along, obviously a John. I don't know anything about Nika quite yet, although she doesn't seem very sure about her smile in this photo. Rachel seems like she's going to be pretty strategic and really decisive with who she makes partners with in the game. And I could see her and her linking up together potentially. Rachel seems like she's going to be good and really strategic, and ultimately to the detriment of him, I think, or him. I think ultimately it's going to come down to these two when the first vote comes around, if it's early. If it's not early, then we have a different discussion because he's someone you have to be afraid of if come merge time. I think he's always going to be a target. Sierra, she's going to be the fun chick to go through the merge. I know it. Like, I think he's got endgame potential. She's got merge potential. He's probably out early, emergatory, after the merge, like around ninth. I see him out as like fifth or sixth. That's my guess. I just don't get a good vibe from Sam. The Nanners tribe is, I feel like they're giving me a lot of life, but I've always been more in tune with the yellow tribes in general. But as a tribe, overall, wrapping up commentary on this video, I think chances are between Hot to Go, the Smurfs, and Nanners. I think Nanners is going to prove to be the most competent as a tribe Like we'll basically call it the Nami, even though there's going to be major dysfunction to some degree. The Smurfs, I there's a lot of big personalities, but I think they're gonna hold it together. Some people are gonna stand out too much. Whereas Hot to Go, I think in the challenges, they initially are gonna fail. I think they're gonna lose the first challenge. And I think that they're gonna create a strong alliance. I think the strongest alliance is going to come out of the Hot to Go tribe. It just feels that way. I can see a few of these people sticking together for a long, long time. Whereas I don't really get that from Smurfs, or like I can see it from Nanners, but they would have to make it through all the challenges, which I think a lot of them will. Like I see a potential clash between Yellow and Red, Hot to Go and Nanners, a la Survivor 45, where you had like the Red Reba of like Austin, Julie D, and all that kind of stuff, kind of squaring off against Bello, like Bruce, Katura, Kendra, Jake, except they're actually going to try to stick to it. Whereas the Smurfs are just in Smurfville chilling on their own. They would be like the Lulu that's sitting there hoping they can get picked up. That's really what I see of the remainders of this tribe. And I think that'll probably be Tayana, Sue, and maybe TK. I don't have a lot of faith for the right side of this graphic. So that's at least my quick thought on maybe how I think that's going to play out. If I had to put a stamp on it, I'd say Teeny's first one out, because I think Red will probably lose first. That's the beauty of Survivor. The great Tom Westman once said, Survivor's 50% mental, 50% physical, and 50% luck. And we're going to see how that shapes up. But ultimately, I'm really excited to be making Survivor 47 content. Can't wait to talk more about it. It's going to be the Survivor 47 Castaway Draft. We're going to see some Castaways draft, the Smurfs, the Nanners, or the Hot to Go. I mean, that's what everyone wants to see. They want to see these castaways finally being selected, and we get to see them on our screen. We're going to get the preview. We're going to get Survivor Auction. We're going to get all kinds of fun stuff this season, and hopefully it's as good as any season of the Survivor New Era. But that's going to do it. Hope you have an amazing day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and hit that subscribe button. You take care, everyone. Goodbye.